One of the most difficult things to portray in a big budget superhero movie is a hero. We're happy to overlook the violence, devastation and carelessness of heroes because it's a lot of fun watching them destroy things, and because the damage they cause is usually a result of trying to prevent something worse. We've seen many scenes which discuss the collateral price paid by the worlds and its inhabitants because of the actions of our heroes. Civil War is in part a whole movie about this very thing. One thing which the movies do a great job of showing, but is sometimes missed in the spectacle of the event, is the price paid by the heroes of these events. The personal sacrifice that they have to actively choose. Some movies make it the last time a character influences the plot. Some make it a contemplative afterthought. One movie makes it a compelling and somewhat tragic theme hidden amongst a sea of great jokes and spectacular visuals. It makes it a genuinely heroic choice, which adds enormous weight to his actions before and after this movie. This is why I chose Banner's choice in Thor Ragnarok as the scene to analyse for the One Marvelous Scene playlist, which has become so popular on YouTube. Pay attention at the end of the video for information about it. It's worth sticking around for. When Thor stumbles across Hulk in Ragnarok, it's an opportunity for the movie to bounce two characters off each other and utilise their ironically reluctant friendship to create some of the funniest moments in the entire MCU. It also gives us, the audience, more of what we come to these movies for: a fight. But the Hulk has been through quite an evolution throughout his stay in the MCU, beginning as a force of destruction which by the end of The Incredible Hulk can be directed and aimed but not controlled. He's essentially the most aggressive and primal aspects of Banner amplified to infinity. When we see him in Ragnarok, that changes. We learn that he isn't the primal aspects of Banner anymore. Hulk is Hulk. He isn't aimed or directed by Banner. He does what he wants and is an independent character. This makes his story in Ragnarok interesting. In my video discussing how to write villains, I mentioned that maybe the best way to create natural tension between a hero and a villain is to have them compete for the same goal. It's partly why Nolan's Batman trilogy villains work so well. Each villain wants the same thing as Bruce, the metaphorical soul of Gotham. For Hulk and Banner, they both want the same thing too: conscious control and independence. In previous movies, Banner had ceded control to the Hulk temporarily to use his size and strength, but still had some measure of influence over him, even if it was tenuous. In Ragnarok, Hulk has finally achieved the goal of control, and actually quite enjoys his time on Sakaar. He doesn't even want to leave. When he's eventually tricked into transforming back into Banner again, we get a scene which I find really poignant.
The whole thing is totally different this time. I mean, in the past, I always felt like Hulk and I each had a hand on the wheel. But this time, it's like he had the keys of the car and I was locked in the trunk.
I will you back.
Banner's admission of being stuck inside the Hulk is different than the other times. In the past, Banner held some influence over Hulk, but this time has been a passive observer watching someone else live his life, trapped and unsure of when or if he would ever be able to participate again. This idea is such a powerful and pervasive one that it's the basis for one of the most popular and best received horror films of 2017. As a person not suffering mental illness, or a case of giant green rage monster, it's difficult to imagine just how harrowing and terrifying that situation must be. To see your body being used by another consciousness, to see your life slowly ticking away minute by minute and have no control over how it's used must be genuinely one of the most scary experiences that anyone can live through. And it's what makes Banner one of the true unsung heroes of the MCU. In this scene, Hela and her forces are about to overpower Thor and Loki, and the denizens of Asgard are about to meet their end. Banner has a terrifying choice to make. He remembers that the last time he ceded control to Hulk, he became a passenger for 2 years. That despite his attempts to direct and influence the Hulk from within, he couldn't. If Thor hadn't come along and accidentally disengaged the Hulk persona, he might never have been released from his subconscious. If he transforms into the Hulk now, he may never be active again. He might be permanently trapped into passively watching and never participating. The price is both clear and high. True heroes pay the personal price to stop others from paying it instead. After a few moments' thought, Banner does this too. Imagine being faced with that choice. Imagine that the only two options you have is to see an entire race of people and your friends die, or to become a mere spectator in your own life and suffer the depressing fate of watching the next 40 or 50 years of your life ebb away before your eyes without having any control over how it's used. I'm not sure I could make that choice. I'm not sure anyone could. This scene is a great scene because it gives Banner and Hulk some weight and an arc which is so compelling and unique. It's a choice of sacrifice which nobody else has had to make. Sure, Steve chose to die in the plane, Tony chose to die in space, Thor chose to die in New Mexico. But heroic while these choices are, they're mercifully quick. Banner's choice is to imprison himself inside someone else's mind, possibly for the rest of his life. Instead of a quick sacrifice, Banner's is agonizingly long and torturous. This scene spoke more about Banner as a character than any other scene in the MCU, and at least to me it cemented him as a truly heroic character, and it's one marvellous scene which makes Thor Ragnarok one of the best movies in the entire MCU. If you enjoy the MCU and you enjoy these video essays, I would highly recommend taking a look at the playlist that this video is included in. There's going to be a link in the description below, and I'll try and put a link on the screen as well. I'd recommend checking it out because it does include videos from some of the creators and channels that inspired me to start this channel, so their videos are of a very high standard. They have the same analytical mindset that I do, and they've got the same love of the MCU as well. So if those two things are your bag, then that list is definitely for you. Check it out. I'm pretty much saying goodbye to the MCU after Far From Home. I think that'll probably be the last MCU movie that I see, or at least that I'm planning to see, unless something insane happens. So this video for me is kind of a personal one. It's the end of a personal journey through the MCU. An interesting way to sign off from it. And I'm really glad and grateful that the whole creative team at Marvel managed to give us such a high standard of films for so long. I hope you'll check out the playlist. It's honestly worth giving it a go. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.